Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Danganronpa Lapse. On this episode, we did the investigation, and stopped just before the trial. We figured, why not? So, I guess it's time to figure out what happened to Pandora. To begin us off, we have Missy, obviously. So well then, I shall begin. Last I saw her, we were sharing a quiet breakfast. I can back that. The group was composed of Art, Echo, Missy, Pandora, and myself in the dining hall from about 20 to 8 to 10 a.m. After that, we kind of went our own way. I went around the mansion with Echo to talk to the others who weren't at breakfast. Who did we see again? Everyone except Lyle and Ashley. And I think also Alan. Well, we didn't see Ashley. Oh, who's this swapping out? Yeah. I think. I'm gonna say it because I'm cheap. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, seems right. Those people were Say, Cannon, Forte, and Lyle, and we asked about them about their talents. That's right. But when we were touring the mansion, we met with those four and no one else. The only ones we didn't see after breakfast were Pandora and Ashley. I mean, we met with Pandora when we were talking to Cannon, but she didn't stick around long. She said she had somewhere to be and left to go to who knows where. No idea. Don't recall. Been too long. So there's a period of time in which no one on Pandora left, is that correct? That window apparently being somewhere between 10 a.m. and approximately 4 p.m. Can anyone else provide their whereabouts within that appropriate or approximate time frame? That's 6 hours. I was alone in the study for a good portion of the afternoon, and I went to the theatre about 2:30 in the afternoon. So that gives you, what, an hour and a half of being inside the theatre. Can Forte it's Forte who can confirm that? You must have left just after we went in. I went to the study at 3 p.m. So just missed you. I spent my time in my personal room. I wasn't in one place. I was investigating the mansion until 3. That is, I met up with Art for a little bit and eventually ended in the jazz club right before 4. Okay. I was regarding myself to the amenities in the theatre for much of the afternoon. So can you confirm or deny Missy getting in? I was in my room too. After I had a meal with Art and Echo, I went back and didn't leave at all. Ooh, sorry to say, but it's hard to prove that. I was alone. I was in the atrium for a while. Looks like no one has a particularly strong alibi except for Art and Echo, who could vouch for each other until 3 p.m. Oh, good job, Art. You didn't kill anyone. What does that mean? It means we're the least likely to be the killer. It means that since many of us were acting on our own for extended periods of time, our whereabouts can be heavily doubted. Anyone could lie about their activities instead of set up some sort of trap to get rid of Pandora. Since no one saw each other, how do we know it was a trap? So we're all suspicious. Most are, not everyone. It's difficult to narrow down who is potentially suspicious on those claims alone. Well, Forte hasn't confirmed or denied Missy entering at 2:30. If anything, that would at least close the window of those two being suspicious. Let's calm down and think thoroughly. Why don't we move to the topic of the force motive question? Question, along with with the motivation music, was provided to push someone to commit a crime. We ought to figure out what about the question they would have caused such distress. because some people have talents that are only linked to their personality. Cyrus. The false motive question. A small group of us talked about it briefly in the morning over breakfast, but ultimately we couldn't figure out the purpose of the question. True, but I guess it's a matter to question yourself of who would I be without my talent? Why don't we discuss the purpose of that everyone, now that everyone's present? Well, not everyone. Discussion commence. Purpose of the forced motive question. The question was, are your talents a true representation of who you are? Who are you beyond your talent? What could that mean? It means Cyrus is useless. I don't know, I'm focusing heavily on him. I should pay attention to the statements made that might sound interesting. A question to provoke killing, it makes no sense. How could a simple question make us do something as extreme as end someone's life? This morning we speculated that sharing the histories behind our talents would only create a greater bond between us. I'm inclined to agree with that conclusion. It only makes sense after all. But it's also possible that it's a tactic used to instill distrust and cause discord. That's interesting. How? Okay, false motive question. Cool. Do I just click on them? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Okay, I am supposed to click on them. What do you mean by distrust, Ash? That is, someone didn't want to talk about their talent, despite the talent being something that's highly lauded. If someone wouldn't want to talk about such an unassuming topic, their resistance would be suspicious, right? But just because someone's talent is public knowledge, it doesn't necessarily mean the individual's life and practices behind it should be public as well. I can see the logic behind that, I suppose. Ash, you kept your talent unknown to me for whatever reason. Are you saying you want me to believe you're suspicious? Of course not. How could you even say that? You asked us to? It's pretty easy of how we got to that conclusion. Did you ask someone about the forced motive question and not get an answer? No, I just didn't want to bother anyone with such a potentially loaded question. Is my talent a true representation of who I am? I never thought about my talent as a representation of me. It was simply a hobby that spiraled into something incredulous. Cool. I never would have thought of racing would lead me to the end in such a strange mess. We are so small. Sorry to press you so hard, Ash. Asked me if I knew anything about your talent, so I couldn't properly answer him. That said, I think this conversation eventually proved your point. It could cause discord, this contention even between us. That's right. I'm sorry if keeping it a secret hurt you, Echo. I didn't mean to tie you up in such complications. I mean, I can see her logic from the excuse she gave. It's hard to call it an excuse, but she said, if I recall correctly, that she wanted a friendship because of who she was, not because of the talent she had. It's not so complicated. You're my friend. If anything hurts, it's the fact that I burdened you with this topic. Cool. Well, that's the purpose of this discussion, isn't it? To bring ideas and theories to light. And I don't suppose I just performed an example of the question causing such altercation. Hooray. Oh, wasn't that something? Best friends reconciling their differences for the sake of proving a point. I suppose every discussion has to start somewhere. Okay, as you were. Right. Thank you for that bookend, Zero. No problem. In that case, what if the question posed was meant to make us look at ultimate students' talents as the ends justify the means product? Ooh, that's a good question. A means justifies justice fries served with what? It's okay, Art. You can go back to sleep. You've proven that you're innocent. The ends justifies the means. A saying is in which a result is deemed so important that any method, morally good or bad, may be used to achieve it. In this case, I believe what Echo is saying that is regardless of how someone achieves such advanced talent, or what the person is like behind it is meaningless in the grand scheme of having an ultimate title. After all, didn't we all sign up for the preservation project, knowing full well that we needed to bear an ultimate title? An ultimate title, a precariously valuable title someone receives for super excelling in their field of expertise, which somehow we are here without one. But what does this possibly have to do with Pandora getting killed? There's no way anyone was like jealous of her talent or something, was there? Well, I can think of someone. We're all strangers before meeting this, but we were all strangers before meeting in this scary place anyway. Not all of us. I fully want to believe. I want to believe we all got along well with her. We all got along with each other, in fact. Without the killing game pressure, I don't see how anyone could possibly harbor any ill will. Nah, someone's got to hit her. I'm assuming it's a matter of she is the easiest target sort of thing. What? I'm bored. Like, not necessarily like let's go out of our way to kill this person, but more of she's right here, right now, unaware I'm here. I could kill them. You weren't talking about anything interesting, so I thought I'd throw you all a bone and get the ball rolling a little faster. Not a single person is going to be loved by everyone. It's just not possible. How could you say that? She did nothing but show kindness and warmth towards everyone. To our faces. Pandora only ever wanted to share good food with her good friends. Yes. She was always worked tirelessly to bring us together with her delicacies. What? Oh, good show, everyone. You're all such great actors. I guess it's been fun watching, but the discussion isn't really going anywhere. Oh, I'll just put an end to this now. This case, this trial, it's all an elaborate ERG scheme. Lyle, it's all an act. The reason why there's no so few clues is just a way to save resources. Imagine if the folks setting up the game had to use a bunch of fake blood to create a scene. Though I suppose, for the sake of entertainment, such a system exists to waste resources. But what are you talking about? Pandora isn't dead, she can't be. Nothing adds up. But I suppose if you want me to keep playing, I'll say this. Let's think about who was the first on the scene. Myself. If I recall correctly, it was Echo, wasn't it? Yeah, I saw Pandora's body first, then I called out for help, which made Cyrus and Cannon arrive shortly after. Okay, easy. The culprit is one of you three. Noted, it's Cyrus. What? On what grounds do you think you can speculate that? Because either we killed her, pretended to find the body, and then screamed for help, or one of you two killed her, ran to a different room, and then pretended to hear us and came to help. Pandora's supposed time of death was 4:05, right? I'll set the scene. We're just minding our own business in the mansion, not knowing what's to come. Soon some nasty music starts playing, one of you three starts getting stressed out, and so you strangle the first person you see. How else could we narrow down the culprit? It has to be someone who was near the scene after 4 PM. And that person couldn't have gotten far after escaping the crime scene. Allah's not wrong. In my opinion, motivation to kill a la stress from music is kind of shoddy writing. But at least there was an attempt. Lyle keeps going on about killing being an ARG, but her death seems so real. Wait, doesn't that mean everyone's alibi from earlier didn't amount to anything? Bingo. I believe you all discussed your whereabouts up to the approximately 3 PM latest, but no one seemed to said anything from then to 4 PM when the music started. Lyle's got a point. The critical moment to consider is the time just before the murder occurred, obviously. If someone offed Pandora via acute strangulation and made their getaway, not likely the culprit would have gotten far from then and when Echo supposedly discovered the body. So, with the window of action narrowed down to be between 4 o'clock and 4:05, does anyone care to share their newly updated whereabouts? We were all where we all were in the approximate time around 4 p.m. leading up to the motivational music. If we follow through with Lyle's speculation, we might glean some information that will help us. After hanging out with Lyle, I went to the atrium. The music was blasting in there. Missy joined me in the theatre after the music started. I thought and I could go backstage to control the sound system, but our attempts were futile. I was still in my room, hiding under the covers. I told you I was in the foyer, leading up to the music. Some noises, but nothing I could deal with. I was in the jazz club. I told Echo earlier I was in the climbing center and I saw no one suspicious past the open door. Like say I was in my room too. I'm going with Cyrus. Oops. No, do I scroll back? Am I able to? I don't think I am. Lyle, why would I go into the room with echoes that avoid horrible music? Yeah. Okay. Gas club. Open door! Why'd you leave the door open in the first place? I left it open just in case anyone else wanted to join me. Well, maybe you just ran in. That's it? Is there a reasoning so unbelievable? Yes. I guess not. Okay. Theater. Okay, jazz club. It was your idea after all. Wait a minute, Lyle. I know for a fact that the jazz club is soundproof. That's right. When I attempted to play the cello yesterday, you and Cyrus were just outside the jazz club in the hallway. Neither of you seemed to have any reaction when we came out shortly after. That means it's possible that Lyle is exempt from hearing the motivational music. Does it? I suppose you're onto something. I admit, I don't even know what the motivational music sounds like, but... Confluence. So, if anything, that just proves that Lyle is innocent, I suppose. But nothing. That's an awful, precarious situation to put yourself in, Lyle. Sure, it's odd, but what's stranger still is how did Lyle know about the motivational music if he'd never heard it? The kiosk. Remember, they translate sound to text. But this time, I only saw a message. It said something like, preserving the atmosphere of the room. Zero, what's up? You're the judge of the trial, but you're also the announcement operator outside these walls. I assume you can assist us on something clerical like this. Can you tell us what the kiosk message said in specific? Your current room is a special room that blocks out all outside sound to preserve the atmosphere of the room. Please enjoy it to your heart's content. I didn't write that, by the way. So you're saying we could have avoided the noise entirely? Isn't that too convenient? Wait a minute, in that case, what if Lyle is the one who killed Pandora? Then... How would have Lyle have known where Pandora was? What? Didn't I just say that it was the music that would have provoked someone to kill her? I was in the jazz club. I didn't hear any of the music, therefore I wouldn't have felt the motivation to move. No, you could have killed her in the jazz club and moved her body to the open spa. No, because then Cyprus, if he's innocent, would have seen it. Cyprus with P? Cyrus. That would explain the lack of clues in the spa lounge. This is troublesome. Did any of us investigate the jazz club afterwards? No. I was so shocked after seeing the body that I didn't even think about looking at elsewhere. I think we all were just as astonished as soon as we heard the body discovery chime. So So perhaps Lyle counted on the fact that we didn't, in fact... What? So perhaps Lyle counted on the fact and did, in fact, kill her in the jazz club. He doesn't have an alibi for a large portion of the afternoon anyway. Saying something like scouting the mansion for clues, he could have spent the whole day, unsupervised, plotting the terrible thing that ended in Pandora's life. Hey, haven't you heard the phrase, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence? I have not heard that before, so please provide proof. Well, it's not out of the question. After all, the ultimate puzzle master could have said something elaborate, so elaborate that the answer is to this murder puzzle goes right over our heads. That can't be possible. I was in the climbing center, which is between the spa lounge and the jazz club. Thought so. If Lau committed the murder in the jazz lounge, I would have plainly witnessed the change of scene. You very well could have constructed that alibi to assist Lau in this dark activity. And now why on earth would I lie about such a thing? Settle down. Yelling at each other with hypotheticals isn't getting us anywhere. Agreed. If it will quell Size and Forte's worries, let's tackle their initial theory and go from there. Say and Forte are warped in the possibility that Lau killed Madora in the jazz club. Is it worth discussing? Yes, it is. Just to be safe. We shouldn't leave anything to doubt. If Lau isn't the culprit, then he shouldn't have any problem clearing the air. Are you kidding me? Fine. What would my motive be for killing her? Oh, killing her be. I didn't hear the motivational music, so that is out of the question. And I didn't speak to her about the false motive question, since I haven't seen her all afternoon. So tell me, based on my lack of time around Pandora, do I even have any clear reason to get rid of her? Oh my stars, you're all so bad at this. What? I'll tell you all for certain that nothing happened in the jazz club. You are awfully involved in this. Huh? I'm telling you this because you're all just so awful at this whole trial thing. The game master is getting involved with the trial. That's not a good it's not really a good game master. Ha. Geez, I guess this is what happens when there's no ultimate detective around. Huh? No. And your ultimate photographer's so quiet, she's all but dropped dead at this point. And if you did drop dead, you'd have to go through another trial, and I don't think I have the patience to watch you run in circles at this rate. Alright, since this one is clearly going nowhere, allow me to throw you a bone. So meaning the murderer is getting away, is rather not getting away, is watching the game master have help. There's something strange about that note in the spa pool, don't you think? Valak very conveniently managed to redirect the conversation from the piece of evidence on the scene. I'll let you all think for yourselves. The note must have been something to do with Pandora's murder, but what? I'm certain Arden Lyle knows something about it, but since Lyle brought it up as with us, but hello? What's with the dead air? Don't want to talk anymore? You don't want everyone to die without giving a trial the best shot, do you? Like, are you even trying to save yourselves? Maybe I should stop giving you up these opportunities. No, I think you should. I think you should stop trying. The courtroom fell silent. It seems we all neglected the gravity of the situation, or rather, we were avoiding it. It's just nothing felt real. Pandora's death, her body hardly showing any signs of injury. It was like she was asleep. It's as if we all wanted to forget the reality of the topic at hand, which was that someone had killed our friend. I kept dodging and darting around the main issue. Yes, as painful as it is, we must discuss the murder. It may seem hopeless at the moment, since we don't have much information to work with, but clues will reveal themselves as we bring about certain topics to light. So, don't hold your tongue. We must do this to save ourselves. Then, I'll start with the cause of death. From there, it'll probably be easier to reason out the potential culprits. According to the Monokuma file, it was strangulation. Can we identify what she was strangled with? We ought to touch upon the possibilities. It may be difficult to think about, but no one said such a fight would be easy. Just what was Pandora strangled with? There's something we're missing. I think it must. What? I was thinking it might have been rope from the climbing center. It's horrifying to think about, but perhaps the culprit used their own hands. Let us narrow down our thoughts and eliminate things that would be unlikely. We also ought to think about things in the spa lounge that could have been used. Is there? Oh, where is she? Here she is. Daisy. What does this mean? I don't know what it means when you hover over the thing, the faces come to the side. There's Art, Pandora, Lyle, and Ashley. Is it like the closest relationships? Because Art's there. Then we go to Say. It's just Pandora. And Canon has no one. We have Lyle, Missy, and Ashley. Forte has Art, Missy, and Canon. What? So Art doesn't have Forte though. Just. Oh, Zero Escape. Nice. Missy has. So it is interesting. There's no thing for what do we call it? Echo. Something we're missing. I think we should probably talk about the hands and how it's not the hands. But yeah. What was in the spa lounge that could have been used? If we consider the following: the climbing center and the jazz club were occupied with one person each. Neither of the occupants saw anything during their stay, if they're telling the truth. And the killing occurred soon after 4 p.m. after the music, so it's likely the culprit could have only used whatever was available in the location. What, if anything, could have been used? Think. What is the murder weapon? Her hair ties? Echo, what are you on to something? I think so. You brought up a good line about it made me rethink the scenario. I recall seeing something that might answer your question. I believe the culprit may have used a towel to strangle her. Okay. It's an unassuming object, isn't it? Of course, there's going to be towels in the spa lounge, so the culprit took advantage of the location and utilized the tools available. The tool being the very towel she was resting her head on. Then they must have strangled her by wrapping the towel around her neck and pulling until she stopped struggling. Until she stopped struggling and breathing altogether. That would explain the lack of fingerprints dug in. So, yeah, because it wasn't hand. Also, she'd probably try and grasp at herself, or rather her throat. So if it was her hands, she would probably stick her nails into whoever her attacker was. As well as explain why I didn't see anything. Would see anyone near the climbing center in the event of rope was used. It might have been conjecture, but it's the best thing we have so far. But there's something bothering me, if I may. What I don't get is, why was Pandora seemingly so relaxed in the spa? She was reclined there. She was reclined, and there weren't any signs of a struggle in the whole room. So they snuck up on her. There must have been something. Must have been obnoxious music playing in the spa too. So I doubt she would have stayed. That's strange indeed. I certainly couldn't concentrate on the climbing grips once it started. Perhaps it didn't play music, much like the jazz club. But I don't know. Uh, I will continue this next time. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I can see you in the next one with that. Goodbye.